Did you know Star Wars A New Hope nearly flopped before it became a box office legend? Or that Darth Vader only has 12 minutes of screen time? From secret edits and uncomfortable costumes, these behind-the-scenes facts will make you see Star Wars in a whole new light, because you won't believe what went on behind the scenes in a galaxy far, far away. Number 1. We all know the iconic Imperial March. But did you know this music wasn't actually in A New Hope? This menacing theme, which has become synonymous with Darth Vader, was not actually featured in the first Star Wars film. Despite Vader's imposing presence and pivotal role as the primary antagonist, this now iconic theme would not make its debut until the sequel, The Empire Strikes Back. Instead, Vader's appearances are underscored by a more traditional, albeit still dramatic, orchestra. Effective, but not nearly as unforgettable. It's hard to imagine Vader now without that goosebump-inducing score. Number 2. George Lucas made one of the smartest business decisions in Hollywood history. For Star Wars A New Hope, he accepted a lower director's salary in exchange for full merchandising and sequel rights. At the time, the studio didn't believe merchandising would be profitable and expected the film to be only moderately successful, so they agreed. Between 1978 and 1979 alone, Star Wars generated $100 million in toy sales. By the time Lucasfilm was sold to Disney in 2012, the franchise had earned an estimated $20 billion in merchandise revenue, with George Lucas personally receiving between $3 to $5 billion. And if you want to get your hands on some of this iconic Star Wars merch, check out the links in the description. Number 3. One person who wasn't so lucky was David Prowse, the man behind the mask of Darth Vader. Prowse delivered all of Vader's lines on set in his natural Bristol accent, which led to the crew jokingly calling him Darth Farmer.
Start tearing this ship apart piece by piece until you find those tapes. Find the passengers of this vessel. I want them alive!
But he had no idea that his voice would be dubbed over by James Earl Jones. George Lucas never told him. Prowse found out only when he saw the final cut, and he was understandably hurt and frustrated, feeling underappreciated for his contribution. Even James Earl Jones later said he considered his own part just a voice job, and credited Prowse for his physical performance. While the situation certainly wasn't handled well, you can't deny that James Earl Jones' voice for Darth Vader is nothing short of perfect.
The Force is strong in this one.
Number 4. Star Wars A New Hope originally opened in just 32 movie theaters in North America on May 25th, 1977. Fox didn't have high hopes for it, and many theaters were hesitant to screen it. Some of the theaters were only persuaded to show it because if they agreed to show Star Wars, Fox would let them screen the more anticipated film, The Other Side of Midnight, which is so crazy to think about now. However, audiences who did see it were blown away, and word of mouth spread fast. Demand skyrocketed, and Fox was quickly able to expand the number of theaters. At its peak, it was playing in over 1,000 theaters throughout the US and Canada. Number 5. Darth Vader is one of the most recognizable and iconic figures in film history. Given his monumental status in pop culture, it often comes as a surprise to learn just how little actual screen time this legendary villain had. In fact, Darth Vader only has about 12 minutes of screen time in A New Hope. Despite this surprisingly short amount of screen time, Darth Vader's imposing figure, James Earl Jones' unforgettable voice, and his powerful actions made him an instant and enduring cinematic villain. You could even argue that his limited appearances only made him more mysterious and threatening.
I find your lack of faith disturbing.
Number 6. Sir Alec Guinness, who played Obi-Wan Kenobi, had a complicated relationship with Star Wars. From the moment he first got the script, he didn't think the writing was very good, but admitted he couldn't stop turning the pages. He wanted to know what happened next. He also liked the then up-and-coming director, George Lucas. But ultimately, his main deciding factor for taking on the role of Obi-Wan Kenobi was money. The studio paid him $150,000, about $800,000 today. During filming, he wrote in his journal, "I can't say I'm enjoying the film, but the work is fun." And in a later interview, he once again complained about the dialogue, calling it mumbo-jumbo and bloody awful, banal lines. The main cause for his dislike came from the fact that he saw himself as an artist. He was a classically trained actor, had won an Oscar, and been knighted by the Queen. He preferred blending in and didn't want to be known only as someone from a sci-fi franchise. But he was certainly happy with the money. because in addition to the initial $300,000, he received a 2.25% share of the movie's overall profits, which left him able to live the rest of his life quite comfortably. While the exact amount isn't known, it's estimated that he had earned over $50 million by the time of his death in 2000. Number 7. Even Harrison Ford wasn't always a fan of George Lucas's dialogue. Reportedly, he hadn't bothered to even attempt to learn his lines for the moment he tries to convince Imperial officers that everything is fine.
Everything's under control, situation normal.
What happened?
Had a slight weapons malfunction, but everything's perfectly all right now. We're fine. We're all fine here now, thank you. How are you?
Whether Ford did this deliberately to make it seem more natural, or if he just actually forgot the lines, you can't argue that this is one of the funniest scenes in the entire movie. Number 8. Portraying C-3PO in Star Wars was far from glamorous for actor Anthony Daniels. He has described the experience as physically grueling and often miserable. The original costume was made from rigid fiberglass and plastic, designed more for appearance than practicality. It was so tight and restrictive that Daniels could barely move, see, or even sit down. During breaks in between filming, he'd have to lean against something instead. And on his first day of filming, a leg piece even shattered, leaving Daniels in pain and partially trapped in the suit. The desert heat only made things worse. Filming in locations like Tunisia, the location for Tatooine, meant enduring extreme temperatures while sealed inside the gold-plated armor, leading to frequent dehydration and overheating. Daniels even recalled being left alone in the sand for hours because the crew forgot he couldn't sit or take the helmet off himself. Despite the discomfort and occasional resentment he felt, Daniels stuck with the role, becoming the only actor to appear in every major Star Wars film. His commitment gave C-3PO his distinct voice, mannerisms, and personality.
Go that way. You'll be malfunctioning within a day, you nearsighted scrap pile.
Proving that, despite all the obstacles, he was irreplaceable. Number 9. The original editor of Star Wars A New Hope was fired. John Jimson was a seasoned editor known for his work on A Hard Day's Night. He approached Star Wars with a traditional editing style that didn't align with Lucas's vision. Jimson's version of the film was slow-paced, lacked energy, and failed to capture the excitement and tone Lucas was aiming for. Moreover, Jimson reportedly didn't fully grasp the unique blend of genres Lucas was creating, that mix of sci-fi, fantasy, myth, and adventure. Lucas was deeply disappointed with the rough cut and felt it jeopardized the movie's potential. As a result, he replaced Jimson, who apparently wasn't his first choice anyway, with his then-wife, Marcia Lucas, along with Richard Chew and Paul Hirsch. The revised cut improved clarity and pacing, especially in key moments like the Death Star trench run, and earned them an Oscar for Best Film Editing. Their work is widely credited with saving the film. Number 10. Who shot first? A question that has sparked controversy in the Star Wars universe for years. The controversy centers on a brief scene in the original Star Wars, the 1977 version, where Han Solo encounters the bounty hunter Greedo in the Mos Eisley Cantina. In the original theatrical release, Han shoots Greedo without warning, killing him instantly. This established Han as a morally gray, unpredictable anti-hero. However, in 1997, George Lucas altered the scene in the special edition re-release. Instead, now Greedo shoots first and misses, and then Han quickly shoots back.
Yes, I bet you have. I bet you have.
In an interview, George Lucas talked about his reasoning for the change. Quote, Han Solo was going to marry Leia, and you look back and say, should he be a cold-blooded killer? Because I was thinking mythologically, should he be a cowboy? Should he be John Wayne? And I said, yes, he should be John Wayne. And when you're John Wayne, you don't shoot people first. You let them have the first shot. Though his explanation does make sense, a lot of fans disagree with it, and the phrase, Han shot first, has become a rallying cry for Star Wars purists. So, who shot first? If you learned something new, hit the like button and subscribe for more deep dives into your favorite movies. What trivia surprised you the most? Drop it in the comments, and may the Force be with you.